Hi everyone, in this video we're going to go over how to create a basic HTML page. I will create two pages, one main home page and one resume page. So first we need a blank new text file. I'm using Sublime Text and you should use Sublime Text or Notepad++ or a more advanced text editor, not word processing software, and preferably not a simple notepad as well. So one of the first things we want to do is actually create a comment to provide some explanation about the file that we have. And the comment tag looks like this. It is a sideways bracket, exclamation point, dash, dash, and then a space, the content, and then the end bracket is dash, dash, sideways. And I already wrote something here and I'm going to copy it here, and it looks like this. And it's just a description of the file name, what this file is going to be, a description of what it is, author, a version, and some other maybe relevant information. So the comment content will only stop after it sees this. So as long as anything is between this set of symbols with this set of symbols, it will be recognized by the web browser as a comment. Now, the file is not picking up that this is HTML because, as I can tell, the colors appropriately are not showing up. So what I will do is I'll go to File, I'll go to Save As, and I'm going to name this homepage.html. I'm going to save. There is already one, so let me call this home_page. It's a little bit weird, but I want to keep the other one in this folder. Notice that I'm also on an appropriate web folder, so all the stuff in here is going to be uploaded, or some at least, is going to be directly uploaded to the HTML folder in the server. So home_page. Try to avoid using spaces in file names. That's why the underscore is there. Let's save as. As soon as I do that, the program Sublime Text recognizes, okay, now I know this is an HTML file. So it starts putting colors to help us understand the code. So first, this is just a big comment. And then we start typing doc.html. This refers to, this is the newest HTML file. HTML5s, and then we have the first HTML tag to begin our document, and then usually we're going to have a head tag, and the head tag is the stuff, it's not going to appear, it's not part of the body, but it's part of the heading of the file, and includes things like, especially like the title. And maybe you saw what just happened here. Sometimes there's an automatic indentation, and this is kind of nice. I like to use this in many cases. It doesn't always happen, but if you use the indentation, you kind of understand how certain content is inside certain other content. So title, let's call this my homepage or something else maybe more meaningful, Nick's homepage. And then for the title, we need an end tag. And if you notice also, I started typing the side brackets, the slash, and then boom, Sublime Text already put the title there automatic for us. Another common thing in the head is what we call the meta elements. And the meta elements elements about the file, and common one is the character set. The character set, it's usually pretty straightforward, so we don't really need to add this. Notice we can use also single quotes and double quotes. But just so you can kind of get a hang for the meta element, I will put it here. Other determinations we do with the meta element have to do with language. You can even add it here. And it was the computer and the browser usually assume that, but if you want to be explicit, if it's different, if it's not the default, you want to put it there. And we also want to, in the head, we can also put a reference to what we're linking. And we're going to link to a CSS file, which I will work on after this one. And so because it's the style sheet, and or the references to the style sheet. And this is a file that I'm going to create as well. I already have one, but I'll create a new one in the second part of this video. And this is the extent of the head. Okay, I already put it there for us, and you can see it kind of follows the tabbing, which works well. Now, we can save frequently so you don't lose your content. So this is not going to be any of the body of the actual home page. It's just all the information like on the tab or other information for the browser to process. Now we can begin after the head, we can begin the body, which is the whole content of the page. Now, within the body, we're going to have a header. I'm going to like to include a header in mine. You don't have to have a header, but a header is really nice and kind of common in a lot of basic pages now. And in this header, I'm going to have an image. It's going to be a little profile image. So the source is going to be the images folder, and then pic.png. That's the exact file name, and it's under a folder, and then the file from the location of this file I'm working on. And I think we're going to class here. I'm going to give it a class name. So I'm making this up, profile image, in case I need to modify the way that the image is going to be rendered by the browser. It's kind of a name. It's very similar to ID. In fact, it's, to me, it's almost, I use it identically. I don't distinguish them, but people more developed in HTML may be able to distinguish the differences. Now, what I'm going to create is a navigation header. And because I'm going to create a navigation header, I'm going to make use of the nav tag. And I'm going to show you what this looks like in practice. And I'm going to have an unordered list here. And it's a list, but it's going to be unordered. And I'm going to also have it be vertically rendered. And I'll show you how we do that. Once again, you don't have to have all the content that I'm having here, but it's it may be interesting for you to use. So it already fills out, it knows. And this is going to be a navigation header on the top of the website, and I'll show you what it looks like. And then you can kind of go on. I will repeat the items, and these are going to be links to the other sections of the page. And I kind of already typed it out here. So if you remember, li is list item, and each list item is going to be a link. And if you remember, the hashtag means I'm going to link within the page. So this links within the page, not to another page, but to a section within this page. And I'm going to make use of sections in this page here. So let me close on. Notice that every time you open a tag, you need to close it. And one of the major ones we can always just make sure we close at the end is the HTML tag. The body tag was closed for me, so that's going to be a new one we're going to need to close eventually anyways. And then, oops, I'm sorry. It knows that's the HTML tag there. And then if we save, and actually maybe we can try to take a look at this as well by opening up the page. So let me see if I can open up the page in another window and show you. So we call this home_page, and what the heck? It's for some reason it's not letting me. Oh, now it is. Open with. I'm going to open with Google Chrome, and then I'll show you here. This is what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. I just created this header here. with this code. This is how I needed to use the header tag, and I used to use the navigation tag, and the list items also works well to structure the content. Now, because I already developed the style sheet that you don't see. This is how I actually get some of these effects, but I'll go over the style sheet as well that gets this effect with this top header navigation bar up top here. So let's go back to where we were. Okay, so that was the header. Now after the header, I would like to create sections, and I'll show you what these sections are going to look like. And I'm just going to copy the section that I have already written out. And not all pages are going to need sections. On the resume page, I use does not have a section. But the section is kind of interesting because it puts a lot of content in one page, but then organizes it itself. And you can see here the section looks like this. First, I have a comment, first section of page, so the browser doesn't, this is just for humans, the browser won't process this. And then I have a section tag. In this section, I'm going to call it home. So I give it ID, and it's home. So when the user actually clicks here, hashtag home means go to the item whose ID is home. So it's going to come here. Now, usually this section may be used instead of div, but also sometimes we need a div, which is a division in the section as well. And the div here ensures content is correctly stacked in the section. So I can only make this work with the div inside. Once again, you don't have to do the whole exact structure that I'm doing. This is just one way to do it. So within this section, which is kind of established from these two statements, I have an image. Notice that this is not tabbed out as neatly as the other one, but it would be correctly, if we were to tab it out, it would look something like this. So you can see the hierarchy. So inside the div, we have these items. We have an image, so a picture of myself there presented. Now I could make some modifications here, like width. Width is very important for images. Some people will put pictures with awkward sizes in their web page. So make sure you control your image correctly, but we're going to do this via the CSS later, and I'll show you. So I'm just going to give it a name to the image source here, a class. And that's another class we already used too. So we'll see how that works. And then there's going to be a heading in the middle, and then I'm going to write some basic introduction about myself. Of course, you can write whatever you want about yourself or about something else. I'm writing with heading content because I wanted to make it big, but you can write it with paragraph or some other font as well. And that's the first section that it creates. So let's take it a look. Let's save this, Control S, and then we're going to go back to the browser. And then with the browser, what you can do to check is just reload. And as soon as you reload, you see, oh, okay, that's the section. The section is this whole area here. And if you click home, it kind of goes back to it, but we don't have any section. We don't have about me section, so you can't go anywhere else yet. So let's continue on to create a second and third section. Okay, after the first section, I'm going to have a very similar syntax, but it's going to kind of expand a little bit. So we're going to have a section. So I begin a new section. I put a comment here so it's very clear. Second section of page. So you begin with a section. It's a different ID. It's the about section. And then we can name sections differently because then we can manage the content of them differently via the CSS. So here's the same idea. So we do, like I said, I need to use the div with the section to make this work, and that's how I was able to get it to work. And then I will have a heading, and then there's a little paragraph. And then actually I put here a nice tag that actually embeds a video. And I'll put a comment here for you to embed video, make sure to get the correct link from YouTube, then share, then embed. You cannot just use the standard URL to embed. Doesn't embed well. You have to get this embed kind of video URL here. Now you see I'm using comments from CSS, and that's a different kind of comment. So you have to just kind of remember the different languages. And if you don't put the end tag, it will think that everything follow this symbols is a comment. So we need to make sure to put the end tag of the comment in it here. So if you check it out how to include a video via this iframe, and YouTube provides it for you, you need to go to the YouTube video you want to embed, then look for share and then embed. Now BR is a separation, H3 is that smaller heading, and then I actually have another list, and this list here is some of the projects I have. And here's at the end of the section. So let's save that and let's see what that looks like in the browser. So here was the page, and then let's see if I stretch it, it's still it still remains in the one section because the way I organize the section is to be focused on the whole view, the screen view. So if we reload, and now voila, there's a second page. Now the second page, there's something weird here. I already see that the bullet points are all the way on the side here, and I'm not really sure why that is. It wasn't there before, but now it is. So that's life in information technology. So you see how there's one section, there's another section, and then if you go to home, it goes back to this one, and if you go to about me, it goes back to the second one, and it should fit the whole screen correctly. And then you see the video embedding, and if I click on it, I think it may go to YouTube or it may play on this one page. Probably will go to YouTube, but it's nice because you kind of see the kind of thumbnail as well. So lastly, or almost there, I'm going to have, actually, I'm sorry, let's go back to the homepage. And then I'm going to now have another section, a third last and final section. And then it's just going to be kind of a contact page. So this is the beginning of the third section, just a comment, and then you begin section with a different ID. So this is the contact section, this is the about section, and so on. They have different IDs, but they're similar. So I just have a kind of a contact me in bold, then a paragraph, you can find me, and then I have my Twitter link or Facebook. This is not my actual Twitter link, it's not my Facebook link, just an example. But you can have some information like that as well. You can use a mail if you see a reference mail to, so the browser recognizes this mail to and actually opens your default email program in your computer. So I just added a third section. You got to begin the section and you got to close the section. So let's save, make sure to save, and let's go back to our browser, and with the browser just reload, and then we should have a third section, and we do have a third section. And you see the background, you have a like kind of background images, and it's even, you can kind of tell it's kind of faded away. I do that all via the CSS, and I'm going to show you how next time. So, and lastly, let me just add a little something here, which is a footer, which is nice to have to kind of change in the main area from the bottom area. And it's just a footer tag, it's just a footer tag, it's pretty straightforward. We can also modify it later via the CSS. So you just put something like this, save it, and sorry, let me go back. So I just put the footer section here. It's pretty straightforward. You save it, we go back to our page and reload again. And then there's the final section, and there's the footer, which you can put links here. You can put other stuff. You don't just have to put this. And this is my homepage, about me, contact me. You can see it goes through the 3 links. It goes through 3 areas of the page. Now the resume goes into a separate page. It looks just like the same kind of link, but it's a link to another page instead of a section in this page. And I will go over that in the next video.